Steve is wearing a backpack because he and Blue are going on a trip. Steve and Blue were talking about where to go based on environments. Steve and Blue saw different brochure environments of a forest that had trees, the Arctic tundra, and saw snow and ice, and listed other environments of a desert, island, swamp, and grasslands. In their closet, Steve and Blue had lots of clothing to choose from for the environment they wanted to go to. Steve asked where Blue wanted to go, and they were going to play Blue's Clues to figure it out. Steve asked the paw print which environment it wanted to go to and turned itself into a tropical island because of the sun and sand and being surrounded by water. As Steve went to his notebook, he heard Sigh Dibbledore yodeling because their favorite environment was the mountains, also because they were rocky and had snow and ice on top, and because of echoes. After singing How to Play Blue's Clues, Steve went to the right and saw the first clue on a sun and said, "Sunny funny," drew it in the notebook, but didn't know what environment was just the sun. After drawing the first clue, Steve had some sun hats packed since the first clue was a representation of the sun. He then packed sun hats and since sun was the first clue. And then they saw a globe and he saw something rocky on top, which were mountains, and Steve and I heard their echoes. Then Steve and Blue heard a voice and scooted into the globe to find out who made it. Once inside, Steve and Blue saw a famous celebrity woman called Mother Nature, who was making up songs about environments and singing the environment song. At first, Steve and Blue saw Mother Nature as making a song about the grasslands, and she knew they were flat, but didn't know what else they were. As she and Blue went to the left, I told Steve that grasslands were also windy too. Steve asked Mother Nature if windy was the answer, and it was. So they sung about the grasslands. A giraffe and antelope came poking out from behind the grass and hid again. And Steve and Blue rode on Mother Nature's cloud and arrived at the tropical rainforest. Mother Nature knew that the rainforest was hot, but didn't know what else it was. Mother Nature and Blue left again, and I told Steve the tropical rainforest is also rainy. Steve asked Mother Nature if rainy was the answer, and it was. And they sang about the tropical rainforest and saw how much the flowers, plants, and trees were growing around them. Then Steve and Blue rode on Mother Nature's cloud again and arrived at the Arctic tundra to sing about it as well. Mother Nature knew the tundra was cold, but didn't know what else it was. As Blue and Mother Nature left again, I told Steve that the Arctic tundra was also snowy, and Steve asked Mother Nature if snowy was the answer, and it was. Then they sung about the Arctic tundra and saw how white, snowy, and freezing it was. There were no flowers, plants, and trees growing anywhere. And when they sung the whole environment song, we arrived at the grasslands, rainforest, and tundra again. Mother Nature thanked them and left. Steve then saw that the second clue on some sand and said, "Sandy dandy." So far, the clues on the sun and the sand. But Steve still didn't know where Blue wanted to go. They skidooed back and packed sand stuff since sand was the second clue, and packed sandals. Then it was mail time. Mailbox arrived and went to another environment to get Steve's letter, which was the rainforest since it was wet and there was a vine tangled around his body. Then Steve went to the bathroom and saw Slippery Soap with his favorite environment. Steve saw it was hot. Slippery Soap used a watering can for rain because Slippery loved the rainforest. So he used hot water and steam for the hotness, water from the watering can for the rain, and a few plants for the tropical rainforest, flowers, plants, and trees. Steve sung the environment song. And when he sung rainy, Slippery Soap made it rain. Then Steve heard and saw a shovel and pail in the backyard. So Steve went outside to figure out their favorite environment. Steve saw it was flat and windy and saw tall the grasslands, and Shovel and Pail loved the grasslands. Had the same giraffe and antelope replicas been hiding them in the tall grass. Steve sung the environment song again, and when he sung windy, they felt the wind. In the kitchen, Steve then had to figure out Mr. Salt, Mrs. Pepper, and Paprika's favorite environment. He saw they made an environment cake and saw ice and polar bear replicas, and it was very cold. And Mr. Salt sprinkled coconut powder on top like snow, and Mr. Salt, Mrs. Pepper, and Paprika's favorite environment was the Arctic tundra. So Steve sung the environment song again. When he sung snowy, Mr. Salt made it snow. Steve heard Blue but didn't see her, but he saw the third clue on a potted cactus and said, "Tiny spiny." Then they went to the thinking chair. The clues were the sun, sand, and a cactus. Steve Steve realized the environment that the clues relate to would be hot since it's sunny. The sand that would cover its terrain would be dry, and cacti would grow there, and the answer was a desert. Steve went to the bedroom and had their sun hats and sandals because of the hotness and dryness, took some canteens of water, and went to the desert. In the backyard, they used the actual sun and used sand in a sandbox that actually had additionally had fake cacti. Got their things, and then Mother Nature arrived, and they sung the environment song again. Shovel and Pail arrived and asked, "Did somebody say grasslands?" and listened to the grasslands verse, and Steve and Blue pretended to feel the wind and held on to their hats tightly, and Shovel and Pail showed the giraffe and antelope replicas and left. And Slippery Soap arrived and asked, "What about the rainforest?" and listened to the tropical rainforest verse. And Steve and Blue pretended to sweat and pretended to feel rain and pretended to see the rainforest flowers, plants, and trees around them, and Slippery left. Then Mr. Salt, Mrs. Pepper, and Paprika arrived, and they said, "Don't forget the tundra," and listened to the Arctic tundra verse, and Steve and Blue pretended to be in the tundra, looking around to see how white and snowy it was, and pretended to be cold, shivered, and shook. Mr. Salt, Mrs. Pepper, and Paprika pretended to be cold and shivered as well and left. Then Mother Nature said desert. They sang about the desert, and Blue listened to the desert verse, and they would need water since the desert was so hot and dry, had a lot of sand everywhere. Then Steve sung the so long song.